I'm Melissa,
And I'm Katie,
and this is the Coffee Experiment.
the podcast for coffee lovers. It's kind of cold. I'm not going to open the window, but the birds are coming out. I think spring is coming.
Yes. Screw that groundhog and the shadow that he saw. We're gonna pretend like he didn't see it. Wait, is it the opposite? What?
There's mixed reports.
Oh
I
no, we're
I
screwed.
saw it. Yeah, I saw it in like different, depending on like what area they did it. They did it in a couple different areas, and I
Uh-huh.
saw like one of them was like, "Oh yeah, we saw the shadow," and the other one like we didn't. So
Uh,
I don't know, conflicting.
so we don't even know what's going on. We don't even know.
No, we don't. So
And neither does
happy
the groundhog.
spring.
Happy spring! We're like a month away from spring.
Well, I mean out this way, I know y'all got snow, but out here
Ugh.
we barely got any snow, and it's so weird for East Idaho. So
We did
super
get
weird.
snow and we still have so much of it left. I'm hoping that the majority of it melts today with it's supposed to be like 68 and sunny all day and then we're supposed to get rain at like 4. So I'm hoping that it like flushes it all out, you know?
Mm. Uh, I mean 68 sounds pretty good.
Yeah. By the way, I did start recording.
Okay. Just our cozy
It is our
conversation.
cozy. I love our cozy conversation. Oh, so guess what
Yeah.
I'm drinking? Guess what my bevy is?
What's your bevy?
Okay.
Um, okay.
So it's I made a maca pot, which if you don't know what that is, if people don't know what that is, it's basically like a really easy way to make espresso at home for cheap. But I
Uh-huh.
made a maca pot and then instead of like syrup or creamer, I did oat milk, which I know oat milk isn't the best for you, but I did like a latte and then I put maple syrup, cinnamon, and brown sugar in it. And it's really good.
Ooh. Dude, okay, so I want to try a mocha pot or okay, is it maca, mocha,
It's
oh,
I've heard
mocha?
both. I'm calling it a maca pot just because that's what I've heard, but I don't really know.
Okay, we'll have to look up pronunciations. But
Mm-hmm.
when I had a kid-free, husband-free Saturday afternoon the other day on
Oh,
Saturday,
look at you.
that hasn't happened in years. And I went to TJ Maxx and I was looking at the mocha pots because I have heard
Mm.
about them. I have seen them being used on like Instagram and stuff. And I know they're like an older technology. I mean, they've been used like for a long time. I would be really interested to know the history on them, but I think we should do an
Yes.
episode on that
Oh
because I
yeah,
want to try
I'll put it in our
it.
notes. Also, I looked up the pronunciation. You're right. It is mocha pot.
It's mocha pot. Well,
Mocha pot.
you can call it whatever you um
I'm gonna put
but
that episode idea in our show notes before I forget, or in our Discord. Which, by the way, guys, if
okay.
you're not on our Discord, you should join.
Well, I like to inform you that I have already added this to the episode ideas, so you don't even have to.
Oh, overachiever. You're an overachiever.
Oh no. No worries. Um anyway, so let's um let's talk about what we're actually talking about today.
Okay.
That's a little more in the future, but today we're talking about a subject that I didn't know about um like honestly until like a few months ago, maybe like October or November,
Mm.
when I spend a lot of time on LinkedIn, as people may know, but I connect with a lot of founders and just marketing directors of different companies and stuff. And since doing this
Mm-hmm.
podcast, I've been connecting with more coffee brand owners, coffee marketing people, that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And this gal is a marketing director. Her name's Andrea, and she is a marketing director for Chesapeake Roasters.
Mm.
And they are a wonderful coffee roasting company, but they put themselves out there as bird friendly coffee. And I had never seen that before when I saw it on their messaging. So I reached out to her on LinkedIn and I said, "Hey, like I don't know what this is, but can you tell me more about what bird friendly coffee is?" And so
Yeah.
um eventually, I'd love to have her on, but it didn't work out for this episode. But I still wanted to do a deep dive on
Oh
it.
yeah.
So we're going to talk, yeah. So we're going to talk all about what is bird friendly coffee, how do companies become like bird friendly coffee,
Mhm.
and kind of why this matters to us, why it should matter to you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I so when Katie told me about this idea, I was really intrigued because I originally thought that she meant like we can feed coffee to birds, like we can make a cup of coffee and like feed it to them. And I was like, okay, so I started doing research on it and I realized that, well, first of all, it's not that. But
No.
there's so okay, I didn't even know I was passionate about this until I started doing research and now I realize how passionate I am about this, but I'm not gonna like get into it yet because I know Katie's got like an outline and I'll kind of play off her. I've got a few of my own notes, but I'm sure she's already got them covered. But I dug into like the oh my gosh, I can't Smithsonian. Oh my gosh.
Smithsonian.
Yes, that. Their website talks a lot about this type of thing and I feel like I've learned so much and I really am passionate now about it and I want to like help and so I feel like I'm excited for this episode because I think Katie and I, this podcast like has been such a blessing, but I don't know, like episodes like this really bring it full circle for me where I'm like, "Oh my goodness, like we can bring so much awareness to people. I didn't know about this. I'm sure y'all didn't all know about this. Like, there's so much that goes into it. And I would love to have her on eventually. That would be amazing.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that that would be awesome. And I actually want to try their coffee
Mm-hmm.
because
Yeah.
and we'll talk about this a little later. There are coffee brands out there that you could try that are bird
Yes.
friendly and some that are working their way to becoming bird friendly because it is a large process. And we're going to talk a little about that process. But first, before we get into it, I wanted to kind of frame this for you. So
Mm-hmm.
think about coffee
Mm-hmm.
as it's a huge traded commodity in the world. It's actually the second most traded commodity in the world besides oil. So
Okay.
oil being the top.
That's actually
It's
kind of
so
crazy.
yeah, it's very obviously it's very desired. And yeah, and everyone all over the world, drinks it. And so Americans drink about 400 million cups of coffee per day.
Crazy.
Us Americans. And um yet coffee farming is one of the leading drivers of tropical deforestation.
Mm.
So think about those birds that you love to hear outside your window. We were just talking about how, we're hearing the birds outside and it's a signal that spring is coming and that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Well, those birds that you have out there, they are mostly migratory birds that we love, right?
Right.
Like warblers,
Mm-hmm.
orioles, like those types of birds. And they spend their winters in Central and South America, and those are the places where coffee is grown typically.
Yes.
So those winter habitats are increasingly replaced by sun-grown coffee plantations. And we're going to talk a little bit about why this is a problem.
Yeah, actually, when I was doing some research, and sorry if you have this later on, I don't see it,
No, no,
but
that's fine. All
um,
good.
just some like facts that I saw. The bird population in the US and Canada has decreased by almost 30%, which is
Mm.
absolutely insane. And 75% of the world's coffee is farmed with practices that leave no place for birds or destroy their forest habitats, which is very sad, especially if it's coming from like coffee specifically, which is, as well, we just said, like coffee, there's a lot of it consumed. So you can imagine that there would be some habitat destruction going on. And bird friendly farms are 100% organic certified. They don't use harmful pesticides and they're better for not only the birds, but the like us, people, and like the planet. I found that pretty interesting. Um, and I just think the numbers are crazy to me, you know, because we don't think about
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I have not thought a lot about what goes into harvesting coffee, and I should,
Right.
because there are, I mean, honestly, the way coffee is farmed has changed so much, and we need to look out for, the little creatures of our world, in my opinion, because as humans, we're stewards of this world, and we need to care for. I mean, I think it's important to care for the animals, but also, like Melissa was saying, bird friendly coffee is also like human friendly coffee as well. It's
Mm-hmm.
healthier. And so so basically like a quick history of why like what's happened to the way coffee is harvested is traditional the traditional way to grow coffee is under tall native trees mixed with fruit trees and vegetation in a biodiverse forest system.
Mm-hmm.
So that's how coffee has been farmed. But these have changed. So in the 1970s, 1990s, there was a big shift. There was a push for higher yields. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, more people wanted coffee and they wanted to find a quick solution to this. So this was an introduction to sun tolerant coffee varieties. And like
Mm.
Melissa said, this is when heavy fertilizer and pesticide use was just rising. So
Yeah.
since then, yeah, we have had, yeah, this is an introduction to a different type of coffee farming. So,
Yeah, I mean, if you think about it, in order to consume that much coffee, we have to find ways to produce it, in a more, well, mass produce it essentially. So obviously, there's going to be unhealthy practices going on with anything because the demand is so high. And in order to reach that demand without making it ridiculously expensive and unaffordable, you have to create a way to farm it in this type of way. And it's unfortunate and it's sad, but it is the type of world we live in nowadays. And I don't know where I fall as far as if I agree with it or not, because it's like I know the demand is there, we need it, but also like at what cost? And so for me, I think sometimes paying extra to help the environment or to help like things is good, but I can also
yeah.
understand why some people wouldn't have the funds to do that and just want something quick and easy. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's our desire for the quick and easy. And as much as I love something that's quick and easy, but we have to ask ourselves, like, yeah, like at what cost?
Exactly.
So I think a lot of the mainstream coffee brands that you can just, you can buy, your whole bean roasts, I think a lot of them are a result of this more industrial crop as
Yeah,
opposed to a forest crop for coffee, unfortunately. So it makes me think a lot about what brands I've been buying and that kind of thing. And
same.
yeah, like what could be better. I think I might be making some shifts soon. I
I
know,
definitely think I will be.
yeah, after knowing this, I'm like, man, this wow,
I
it's just like the
know.
more you know. So,
I know it's got me thinking too for the coffee shop that I own. I'm like, uh, I don't know. Like, I don't want to sell coffee that's, you know, attributing to mass for deforestation and, harming our ecosystems and our habitats. And, I am one person, so I can't really make a huge difference, but I do believe that it starts with us and we can make a difference. But getting us
yeah.
off topic, but I don't know, I found something I'm very passionate about, I guess.
Yeah, yeah, it's pretty crazy. I mean, yeah, it's just one of those things that I learned about and I'm like, man. So, I think to start, I might just I don't know. I'm going to have to think about how I can make some shifts that cuz I know, especially in today's economy right now with things being so expensive, it's hard to know what to swap out for because it's not
Yeah.
realistic to think, unless you're a millionaire, which I'm not, to switch everything to be the most optimum, best product. It's hard,
Right.
to
And
figure
expensive,
out
yeah.
what that
Yeah.
is. But as far as coffee, I mean, I do consume a lot of coffee, so I'm kind of thinking what I consume a lot of. Maybe I should start making some swaps for what I just consume a lot of. I don't know.
Mm,
Just have me thinking.
interesting.
Um, but anyway, so let's talk a little bit about what bird friendly actually means. And
Mhm.
Melissa touched on this a little bit. This is a specific certification that's created by the Smithsonian Migratory Bird Center.
Mhm.
So it is, if you have this on your coffee blend or your coffee brand, it was really hard to get,
I
basically.
did notice that when
You
I was looking into it. I was like, "Oh, this certification's very like there's a lot to it. It is a lot of learning, but listen, if you have the certification, like congrats."
Yeah, it takes a lot of work to get to this. So the company that I spoke, like Andrea, who's the marketing director of Chesapeake Coffee Roasters, they took great care, to get this done.
Mhm.
And so there's basically to get a bird-friendly coffee certification that is from the Smithsonian Migratory Bird Center, you need to have you have to meet three non-negotiable requirements. So number one is shade grown coffee. So there has to be a minimum of 40% canopy cover, at least 10 different tree species around. Trees must be tall, some over 40 feet, and they must be layered. So
You have
this would
to
require people, yeah.
Yeah, you have
But
to
anyway,
remember too that the way that the coffee is grown, like the cherries, does change the flavor profiles of it too. The way that you grow, yeah, the way that you grow the coffee cherries changes the way that it tastes. So let's say that you want like a certain type of flavor profile, you might not get that if you have your bird certification. So that's also something to keep in mind is that, there's a lot that goes into this. It's very hard to achieve, but you're also going to have different flavors of coffee in different regions like that can provide that type of cover.
yeah. Yeah. I mean, it has to be in a certain particular area that is like it lends to more forested,
Mhm.
area. And honestly, it's probably more traditional to how coffee has always been grown, you know. So
Yeah,
I think achieving this type of coffee is probably closer to what our ancestors drank,
probably.
honestly. But that's number one. So it has to be a shade grown area. Um, the second non-negotiable is it must be organic, which means there are no synthetic pesticides or fertilizers.
Mhm.
So it protects insects for birds to eat, the soil health and water systems. So yeah, so it has to be organic.
Very nice, very nice.
Which is good. And then the third non-negotiable is the area in which it is farmed must be biodiverse by design. So it would mimic a natural forest ecosystem, which supports birds, pollinators, other mammals, and amphibians.
Hmm. Yeah, so
Yes.
we're creating a habitat. We are fixing the habitats that we have destroyed.
Right. Yeah. In order to streamline coffee production, to get the certification, you have to undo that.
Mhm. Yep.
um. So. Right. But it's also important to note that not all shade grown coffee is bird friendly, and not all organic coffee is bird friendly either.
Mhm.
So in order for it to be bird friendly, it has to have these three non-negotiables all together. So
Exactly.
that's pretty much the spiel on the three things it takes to be bird friendly. So it takes a lot of work. So um yeah. So that's what Chesapeake Coffee Roasters, that's what they had to go through. And it is fun because let me look them up really quick. I need to remember where they're located. It is in where are they? They're in Maryland.
Oh,
So yeah, so they're a New England, yeah, Chesapeake. They're in New England. So
how cool would it be to go
um
there and like visit and see all the birds and the coffee? Ugh.
Yes. So why birds? So why do we want to make it friendly for birds specifically? So migratory birds specifically are quite vulnerable. Here's what they need. So a lot of the birds that we love that come to North America, in the spring and summer, they need a breeding habitat. So that's why when you hear the little birdies chirping like in your tree, I know I do. I've got huge aspen trees in my yard. My property is over 100 years old, so I have very mature trees out here that birds have called home for a long time, and they are noisy. I mean, there's all kinds of little baby birds up there, and this is their breeding season, right?
Mhm.
So and so that's in North America. Now, their winter habitat is typically in Latin America, where a lot of the coffee is grown. So they need a good place to go. They need a really good winter home to
Mhm.
keep the bird populations up. So,
Mhm.
yes.
Okay.
Um, yes. And so, with bird friendly coffee, the species commonly supported are the Baltimore Orioles, wood thrush, warblers, tanagers, and flycatchers. So, if you are a fellow millennial, which I think you are, because I looked at our demographics on Spotify creators, a lot of you are millennials. Okay,
Welcome.
and welcome. If you are, you know, I think millennials we're getting kind of old. Bird
Oh,
watching might be something that you're gonna start doing soon, or maybe you already have, and no judgment. I mean, it's kind of already started for my husband and I, where we see a really cool bird and we're like, "Whoa, like what bird is that? I want
yeah.
to know, like, what is
My
that bird?" Anyway.
my brother-in-law, he's 27. He loves
Mhm.
bird watching. Loves it. He
Mhm.
has like all the books and everything. Shout out Chance if you're listening. This goes out to you, bruh.
Yeah, that's awesome. Honestly, um, birds are so cool.
They
One of the
are.
things I miss about living in North Carolina was seeing the beautiful red
Mm,
cardinals.
my gosh, yes. We
I
have
love
really
them.
beautiful like big blue jays here. And when the
Oh.
snow came, I definitely bird watched like in the snow because you can see them a lot better. And you know how all those shout out to our boomers who watch, but every boomer posted that picture of the red cardinal in the snow on Facebook.
Oh my.
And I
Well,
loved every second.
I love that. Um, yeah, the main birds we have around here. I mean, we have a couple like migratory type birds. Those are the ones that are typically, nesting, in the trees and all that. But the main birds here are magpies, which are non-migratory. They stay here, but
Mm, okay.
still.
Yeah.
Um, I anyway. So, but yeah, I love that. So, all I'm saying is these these birds, they're I don't know, they're very important, for an ecosystem. And um I don't know, it makes me think of that Bible verse about like how God, he feeds the birds, and he then how much more does he care for us, and it just makes me
Yeah.
think of that actually.
Yeah. Me too.
um and so, yeah, so I mean, God cares for the birds, we should care for the birds too. That's kind of what I'm thinking.
Yeah, well, and without
um
birds, we wouldn't have so many things that we have.
Yeah, yeah, we have, a lot because of the birds. And yeah.
They
So
eat
I think
mosquitoes
that
too.
they eat mosquitoes, and we need less mosquitoes in life, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And all kinds of like little creepy crawlers. We need less of those. I mean, they're still important, but it's all a circle, it's all a circle. We all need the circle, of life. I think that we would I mean, there's probably a lot of things maybe even that birds contribute to that we don't like necessarily think a ton about, that if they were all gone, we would definitely notice. If
Oh,
that
for
makes sense.
sure. Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
So, all right. So moving on to the next part here, I think that I did write this down. So, the environmental benefits of basically of keeping birds around and making sure that their habitats are safe is honestly having more trees around isn't going to hurt anybody,
No,
right? We're not hurting anybody. Like
we're helping.
shade trees, yeah, we're helping. Like they reduce the need for chemical inputs, and they create cooler climates, and they provide more oxygen,
Mm-hmm.
in the world.
Yeah.
So having more trees is not going to hurt us. Having also more trees around and more biodiversity in general is going to lead to better soil health. So, reduced erosion and better water retention in the soil, because when soil is over farmed, it's harder to retain that moisture. And so if a drought happens or something like that, it's really hard for it to continue to hold moisture.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
so there's that. And then they also like trees and plants, they create like cleaner water. So there's less chemical runoff and there's cleaner streams. And so it's just something like in nature that naturally makes cleaner water.
There's so much that it does. And also, every day we're losing trees. Like, people are clearing them out on their properties. Construction's clearing
Yeah.
them out for another new hotel that we don't need or another new coffee shop that we don't need. And so, I think we need more trees. It's really sad to see, like, I live in Kentucky
Mhm.
and it's beautiful here. There's a lot of farms, there's a lot of trees, a lot of like just beautiful scenery. And lately where I live, I'm noticing as I'm driving like to town, there's
Mhm.
so many like machines clearing out trees and it makes me so sad and I'm like, what's even gonna go there? Why are you clearing out so many trees? And it's for something dumb. And
Right.
I'm like, come on. Like there's got to be a time where we understand that this is not going to be good for us. But we don't, do we?
No, we love to cut trees
Destroy.
down for no reason. I mean,
The Lorax
I
would be shaking in his boots.
yeah, the Lorax would not be pleased with um and I just think I don't know. I just think about well, where I live in East Idaho and I used to live in Boise, Idaho. That's where I'm from. And Boise is comes from the French word les bois, which means the trees.
Oh, I love that.
And yeah, I love that little piece of history from my town that I'm from, but it's called and because of that, it's called the City of Trees, and it's just like because it's kind of crazy because where Boise is, it's in a semi-arid desert, so you have Boise in the valley, which is covered with trees, but then above it you have mountains, and then you have some desert and all of that. So it's really interesting, and so I loved growing up there and seeing all the trees, and the city really just values trees, and they plant more trees, like, all the time, and, there is a lot of building going on, they are expanding, I'm sure they've cut down trees for that, but I just remember it being, like, where there are mature trees, they're very conscious of that, like, there's amazing parks and, like, all that kinda stuff where trees are protected and all of that,
Hmm.
but then out here, see, I live in, like, in the Idahoist part of Idaho where we have farming, like, potato farms and that kind of thing, and while we love potatoes, unfortunately, I think sometimes um farmers I've seen cut down trees, like, for no
Mm-hmm.
reason just
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
a, I think what was it? There was, like, this hawk that was around, and they didn't want the hawk around, so they cut its habitat down, they cut, like, the
Mm.
tree where it lived, and I was like, "What?" I mean, hawks, I mean, yeah, they catch all kinds of different, like, critters, like, on the ground, but they're part of the ecosystem, I don't know.
Yeah.
So, that
It is
kinda
very
thing
sad.
yeah, it is, and while, um yeah, I mean, while hawks have been known to, pick up chickens and, like, that kinda thing, that's not great, but it's I mean, I don't know, I just didn't feel like it was needed. I feel like around here, I've seen a lot of needless cutting down of trees, and as a I don't know, I consider myself, like, a little more conservative, like, I guess politically, but I mean, you can call me a tree hugger, like, if you want, but I don't think that has anything to do with, like, my political affiliations. It's just interesting, where I'm like, "Guys, what's the point of just needlessly
I know.
eradicating trees? Like,
I
what's the
know.
point?" I don't know.
It's so annoying. It's sad to see. But here we
It
are.
it it is. Here we are. Um, but I don't know. Um, I just think yeah, I don't know. I didn't realize, like, how passionate I was about this topic, honestly.
I know, same.
I'm just guys, it's like, we need we need more trees, and the birdies need to live in them. Anyway, um, but okay. And so this kind of leads me into farming. I talked a little bit about farming around this area, but now like let's talk about where I live, here in Idaho, and you might live in a farming community, where you're from, but the farms I'm talking about are ones, in Central America where where we are farming the coffee. So actually, it impacts farmers having a bird friendly certification. There are pros for farmers because it will provide a more resilient farm and a more and better soil, that kind of thing. It has a less dependence on chemicals, which are expensive. And then because of this bird friendly certification, you can sell your coffee for more, and you
Mm-hmm.
should, because you're
Yeah.
putting more work in more work into it and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But the unfortunate part is the bird friendly certification is expensive to input, it's labor intensive, and you might have a slower yield to profit.
You
So,
have to be passionate about it for sure.
yeah, for sure. And many farmers that source coffee actually usually can't, like some of them really can't do it because it requires that they own the land that they are farming on, which it's not easy, to reforest land that
Mhm.
has been deforested. It takes years. And so
Yeah.
it also takes knowledge and support and then access to specialty buyers, of your coffee. So like Chesapeake roasters there in Maryland, they would be a specialty buyer of this coffee, and they have to people who are farming coffee need to be in contact with these buyers. So,
Yep.
yep. So that's that. It's really, yeah. So there are definitely nuances to this because while it sounds, because it is amazing, bird friendly coffee is amazing, it's not accessible to every farmer that's farming coffee, unfortunately.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So,
And there are great
anyway,
coffee people out there who don't have their birth certificate and who you should still support. But this is just like a little something extra to think about. Maybe like, especially if it's expensive, once in a while supporting the birds, and then maybe not always or all the time. But just, we wouldn't be doing our job if we didn't give you all the information of the coffee industry as we dive into it. We want you to know everything that there is to know about coffee, and bird coffee is a huge part of the industry that I don't feel like is talked about enough or at all.
yeah, yeah. I don't hear it talked about really at all. I mean, I don't think it's something that's at the forefront of people's minds
Mhm.
necessarily because it's far away from them. And if they can get their coffee, then whatever. Part of me understands that, because sometimes there's so many things in the world to be worried about. But and things there's so many things that we can't control. Um, that make this kind of thing like, oh, just one more thing that I have to worry about. But I don't know. I just saw this actually as something kind of small that I could actually make a small difference in just deciding what coffee I could buy a little bit more often than the other one?
Exactly.
So I don't know. Yeah, with all this crazy stuff, going around, I'm not going to get into it with like on social media and all that kind of stuff, but something like this where I'm like, okay, this is something where I could, yeah, I could make a choice that directly impacts this. And it makes me feel like maybe I'm in control of some small thing, I guess.
Mhm.
I don't
Exactly. Yeah.
know. So, anyway, but I am going to skip down to like, let's talk about really quick. Let's talk about what like where you can find bird friendly coffee to begin with. And
Yeah.
I did share one company, Chesapeake Coffee Roasters, located in Maryland, where I talked with Andrea, who is the marketing director, and she told me, a great little blurb about um, about their company, which was really fun. Um, she said that um, it just makes her really happy that somebody like asked about it, because she's like, it's not
Yeah.
something that a lot of people hear about. And so,
Yeah.
yeah, so it was fun talking with her. So I definitely want to feature them, in this episode and like provide links in the show notes and that
Oh, for
kind of
sure.
thing so that more people can learn about them. They're not one of the more like well-known coffee roasters, but they're doing really well, and they did have, the effort and wherewithal to get the bird friendly certification. So I think that's really cool. Um, so we'll give information to them, and we'll give information about them to you, and then another coffee company that I have that we've talked about before, actually, Purity Coffee. They
We have,
are,
yeah.
yeah, Purity Coffee is something I want to check out too. They are actually, as far as I know, they are working towards getting bird friendly certification, at least for one of their their roasts, I think.
Interesting.
They did a blog about it in 2023, so I don't know where they're at with it, but this definitely is a company worth checking out because they are an organic coffee company and they are working to source their coffee in a much better way. So,
Yeah, I
yeah.
just
So
looked them
they're
up and it says that they have already achieved the Smithsonian bird friendly certification for their
oh,
coffee. Yeah.
good. Good. Okay. So they are bird friendly.
Mm-hmm.
So you can try out Purity Coffee too. I want to try the Chesapeake
Me
roasters
too.
and I want to try Purity Coffee. Um, because it sounds like yeah, they're doing the work to make sure that you can, you can access their coffee.
You
So
know you're going to get a good product when people pour this much dedication into their product.
yeah, you know it's gonna taste really good. They have all different. I'm looking at Purity Coffee actually, like right now. I want to compare price.
I know I like
So
their packaging. I'm also looking at them too.
yeah, their branding is really cool. I really like it. It looks like they have so they're all sold out of their medium roast. But if you wanted to, it's all priced at $29
That's a good deal.
for let's see, for 12 ounces. So I don't know how much it is for the 5 pound bag. But I typically buy my beans whole bean. Um, and so I like to buy whole bean as opposed to ground already, but that's
Yeah,
just my
it
preference.
lasts longer when you do that.
Yeah. So I kind of want to try this coffee, honestly. And then let's look up. So yes, that coffee could be yours if you could get the 12 ounce, or is it 12? Yeah, the 12 ounce bag of whole bean for $29. And then Chesapeake, if you wanted to, let's see, if you wanted to buy their bird friendly coffees, because it looks like they have a selection of specific coffees that are bird friendly. So let's see. Um, let's
It
this
is
up.
going to be
Okay.
pricier, like we've talked about, because of that stamp of
Yes.
approval.
It is, yeah. It looks like you can get a 12-ounce whole bean bag of. It looks like it says River's Edge coffee bean. Let's see. This is 17.90. That's not bad.
Mm.
And then some of them are more depending on what type they are. It looks like this bird-friendly Costa Rican coffee is 19.10. So it's actually cheaper. This is cheaper than Purity coffee.
I also would like to include in our email what the bird friendly stamp looks like, because I just looked it up because I was curious, so we can know what to look for when we are shopping for coffee and we may happen to see that, so
Mhm. Yeah.
very
Yeah,
interesting.
it's quite interesting. But yeah, honestly, both of these brands, I didn't want to throw too many at you. We could probably do we should do an episode where we talk about organic coffees and do like a whole, like talk about ones that we want to try or something. But these two you should try that I know for a fact are bird friendly, or at least some of their beans are bird friendly. So, um, yeah, I definitely want to try these. I should try a bird friendly coffee in my mocha pot
Yes, you absolutely should.
because I kind of want to I want to get I want to get their bird friendly Costa Rica coffee from Chesapeake Roasters.
But yeah, guys, so there's like a lot of different, brands you can try. uh I think like for me this episode has been very like enlightening to a lot of stuff that I don't think about all the time, but just some things to like think about too. Like we said at the beginning, the bird population has decreased by almost 30%. But bird friendly certification protects birds and habitats through the hard work of more than 4,000 bird friendly farmers in 14 countries and 36 million pounds of coffee annually. So that's awesome. And the Smithsonian website is a great place to kind of look at this more in depth. They have a lot of information on there. It's a great database. And overall, there are things we can do that are small that will help. And this is one of those things.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it's just like a small thing that you can do. Yeah, just to kind of, I don't know, just do something that aligns with, what you believe in. And I know that I believe that we are stewards, of this world, and it's important to take care of it. And I think caring for birds is one of those things. It's a small thing, but it also impacts so many things. And yeah, so try out, yeah, Purity Coffee, try out Chesapeake Roasters. And also, I just looked on the Smithsonian website where you can actually find a bird-friendly coffee retailer near you.
Okay.
So,
Great.
I might provide this just in the email
Yeah.
where as your little gifty to be able to find a bird-friendly roaster near you if you want to try that out and compare it with your current roast, and
Yeah.
see if you like it better
We might be
and
able to
if it's
find a
something
little
you want.
coupon. Maybe. I
Yeah.
can't guarantee that, but we might be able to find a coupon to add. Maybe Chesapeake can give us like a discount for our or for not customers, but for the people that listen. I don't know if you have that relationship
Yeah.
with them, but maybe they can give us a little 10% off or something.
Maybe they can. I don't know. I'll have to talk to Andrea again. She gave me a quick, spiel about like, their company, but maybe I
Yeah.
could, hop on a chat with her and down the line we could get like a little discount for you guys. That would be
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah, and I'd love to interview her too. I think that'd be amazing. Really, really cool to learn about that. I want to learn more about this.
Yeah. No, I definitely do. It's something, yeah, that I have found that is, yeah, really important to me. I don't know. I've just been thinking about just like tiny little swaps that I can make
Yep.
here
Yeah.
and there. It doesn't have to be so you don't have to do everything at once, but it's just something that's just been, yeah, ruminating with me lately. I've been feeling, I don't know, this is kind of random, but I've been feeling the same way about book buying. I don't know about
Oh,
you,
okay. Book
but
buying.
book
Like, what
book
do you mean by that?
buying, like just buying book after book on Amazon versus going to a used bookshop.
Oh, or supporting local and getting them from like a local place.
Mm, yeah,
Yeah.
and um and just trying to figure that out because there's so much I don't know. I'm not saying I hate Amazon. I don't hate Amazon. But I don't know. Yeah, so I've been thinking about that lately too.
No,
So bird
I'm right
yeah.
there with you. I mean, coming from a person who owns a local coffee shop who competes with four of the biggest chains,
Yeah.
please support local. It means the world to us, whereas Amazon does not care. Seven Brew does not care. I won't go on a tangent,
Yeah.
but Katie's right. There are little things you can do that will help. And yes, it might be a little bit more expensive, but you're putting your money where it matters and it's going back into the town. It's not going into a
Yeah.
billionaire's pocket to be thrown around, you know?
Yeah.
So think about those things. Think about the little things you can do that will help overall. And guys, honestly, if you're gonna get coffee and you're gonna pay extra for it with the stamp of approval from the Smithsonian Bird, Center, that coffee is going to be so much better for you than like Death Wish off the shelf of Walmart or other things you could get, So just think about those kind of things too. You're gonna put better stuff into your body.
Yeah. Yeah, it's all gonna be, better for you. And little swaps that, that you can make and start, just yeah, it doesn't have to be big. Just start, where you're at. That's kind
Mm-hmm.
of what I've come down to is like where I'm at in my sphere of life are the only things I can control. I can't really control outside of that. And with our I don't know, it's just crazy with the internet and everything getting bigger and bigger and bigger. My inner sphere seems like it's getting smaller and
Same.
smaller.
The same.
And I just want to, yeah, control what's in my little sphere, and you can too. And yeah, and so the more you know. So I hope y'all learned something, and I definitely did. I didn't again before deep diving this, I didn't know very much about it. So
I knew nothing. Literally thought that we were going to talk about feeding coffee to birds, so that tells you how little I knew.
yeah.
But guys,
Oh,
again, thank you so much for listening. Don't forget to follow us on Instagram and check out our website, subscribe to our emails. Katie does a great job on those. Join our Discord community. We can actually, I'll put some of these brands in the Discord community so that people who are a part of that can already have that as a reference. And yeah, just yeah, think about where you put your money. So,
Yeah.
any final
Yeah.
thoughts
Just
that you have?
oh, I mean, I agree. I think that yeah, it all starts with you and yeah, guys, you can if you wanted to yeah, swap out some coffee for bird-friendly coffee, you should try it. I think I'm gonna try that this week, I think,
Yeah.
and just try it out, and see where it takes me. And yeah, join our community. We're trying to grow our following on Instagram a lot right now.
Mhm.
So if that, we have a fun time, on the gram. So I don't know if the kids call it the gram anymore. Is that old? I don't know.
Oh, I don't know. I mean, everybody knows we're millennials anyway, so.
Oh well, and then everyone who's listening is probably millennial too. And um, yeah, oh my gosh, there was a spider on my computer, but now it's gone.
Oh, okay,
I'm
little
gonna
friend.
and I'm gonna leave you guys with that.
All right, guys. Well, on that note, I'm Melissa,
And I'm Katie,
and this is the Coffee Experiment.
the podcast for coffee lovers.
Bye-bye.
Bye, coffee lovers. Oh God, it's oh no.
Oh God. Oh.